On November 11th, the tweet went viral claiming that the Stranger Things chapter would be removed from Dead by Daylight. It caused widespread panic, skyrocketing the DLC sales for the first time in almost 2 years. Reports said roughly 10,000 copies were sold that day as players rushed to buy the chapter before it disappeared. But the original tweet from Germjiro was completely fake. And what if I told you that tweet was actually part of a much bigger marketing scheme? What a great way to spike demand for a DLC, right? It just fake its removal when it goes on sale. Dead by Daylight obviously couldn't pull something like that off publicly, so just get Germjiro to tweet it instead. No paper trail, no accountability, bravo! And honestly, they would have gotten away with it, but they were a little sloppy. Once I saw this supposed sales spike, I started digging. Was this just a harmless joke taken too far? Or was something more deceitful happening? Would you believe me if I told you I had proof Germjiro coordinated with Dead by Daylight in a secret marketing stunt to boost the Stranger Things sales? Well, you shouldn't, because that's fake. Just like the boost in sales. I made that up.
This other account here claims that there's been a spike in sales for the chapter since Germjiro put out this fake tweet. I don't know if this is accurate. I didn't think like sales figures of DLCs were public. I'm not sure if it's on Steam database or something. I don't know if this is accurate or if this is also another troll post on Twitter. I suppose it's possible.
This story went completely off the rails, so let's get back to the tweet that started it all. Stranger Things will be removed from DBD on December 5th. Issues with the Netflix license holders arise again, and they've requested Behavior pull the characters from the game in preparation for the new season. The chapter will be on sale until December 3rd. The tweet itself is pretty believable. It's written like breaking news, and I'll admit, the first time I saw it, I took the bait too. But after digging for any real source, it was obvious the whole thing was fake. But not everyone figured that out. Within hours, the rumors spiraled out of control. A TikTok news channel even made a full video on it. People in my own community were messaging me saying they were sad that Stranger Things was leaving the game. And while I was trying to untangle all the misinformation spreading in my Discord, I saw an opportunity. I'm not really a social media guy. I had a MySpace growing up, and the only thing I cared about was picking the song on my profile. And looking back on it, Lovin' This Club by Usher was not an appropriate choice for a 12-year-old. Outside of that, I never used Twitter or Instagram. But what I am good at is making shit up. I kept thinking about the embarrassment someone might feel if they rushed to buy the DLC because of a fake tweet. And if that tweet reached 500,000 people, how many people actually bought the DLC because of it? 100? 1,000? 10,000? I wanted to find any real stats to back it up, and there was nothing. So if I wanted numbers, I'd have to make them myself. Before I explain how I made the chart, let me just say I support artists. My profile picture was commissioned, my emotes were commissioned, and my thumbnails are either commissioned or made by me. All that being said, I made ChatGPT to generate this chart. I gave it the exact date the Stranger Things DLC returned. I gave it the exact date of Germjiro's tweet, and the first graphs it made were terrible. It had the wrong timeline, and the color scheme looked like something an accountant would make. So I told it to make the colors look like a Steam chart, and suddenly it looked 10 times better. And then I had to figure out what a realistic spike in sales might look like. About 10,000 seemed believable, and then I even experimented with adding like big red arrows, but it made it look like I was trying a little too hard. In the end, I decided 2 images would be the most convincing. One showing sales over the past 2 years, and the second zoomed in to show the exact spike when Germjiro tweeted. And now that the charts were done, I needed a caption. The caption was just as important as the charts, because if it looked too clean or too official, people would assume I made the whole thing up. My first instinct was to write like a headline, "Sales skyrocket after Stranger Things rumor," but that would have made everything look coordinated. So instead, I went with the laziest caption imaginable. Like no capitalization, grammatical errors, no punctuation. All I put was Germjiro fake tweet spiked the Stranger Things DLC, LOL. The idea was simple. If the caption looked like I stumbled upon the chart instead of creating it, people would be more likely to believe it. And somehow, by choosing a caption that looked like I barely even cared, it ended up getting the most attention I've ever gotten on Twitter. Looking back on it, the funniest part is how unremarkable the whole thing was. It didn't look impressive. It didn't look complicated. It just looked normal. And that's why nobody questioned it. Because who would think of something like this? A 2-year Stranger Things sales chart isn't something people assume someone is forging in their spare time. There's no obvious motive, no reward, and no reason to suspect expect it. By the time I made the chart, the rumor was already moving a million miles an hour. So when I added my simple little graph into the middle of all the noise, it didn't create anything new, it just slid right into the story that was already unfolding. It didn't look important enough to question, it just looked like another piece of the conversation. And for me, that was the surreal part, because behind all these reactions and reposts and comments was my name. Not because I was trying to trick anyone, but because I wanted to add something funny to a narrative that was already completely off the rails. And somehow that simple little chart ended up becoming part of the story. But that wasn't where the story started, so let's rewind. Before any quote tweets or reactions, it was just me posting the chart. And honestly, I wasn't expecting anything to happen right away. While I was live, I asked my chat to give it a couple of likes, just hoping the algorithm wouldn't bury it. Hey, also guys, if you guys have Twitter, I made a low-key fake tweet. If you guys could like it to boost my engagement, go on Twitter and do so. It's pretty funny. And it turned into a waiting game. Then it happened. Jira, the person who made the original fake tweet, saw it and quote tweeted it. And the moment I saw that notification pop up on stream, I knew exactly what was about to happen next. The person, wait, did he quote repost it? Yes, he quoted it. Oh, this is perfect, y'all. This is gonna farm so much engagement. Oh, this is amazing. Not long after that, Jira also quote tweeted it. From there, the tweet didn't just grow, it exploded. Notifications were flying, replies were pouring in, and my completely made up chart was suddenly being treated like legitimate data. And then seeing Paulie Esther cover it was the moment I realized it had gone further than I expected. Paulie's one of the most respected creators in Dead by Daylight. He's the kind of person that actually checks his sources. And he said multiple times that he couldn't verify the chart. He was careful, he was responsible, but even then you could tell he enjoyed the absurdity of it. It was the same absurdity that I found funny. And that's when I started to feel a little bit guilty. Because if someone like Paulie, someone who actually checks his receipts, included it in his video, then maybe the joke had gone a little bit further than I intended. It didn't feel right letting creators I respect accidentally signal boost something that wasn't real. And after I went to bed that night, I knew exactly what was gonna happen. When I woke up the next morning, the tweet was completely out of control. People were convinced the Jira twins were secretly working for Behavior and pushing sales. Others were saying that they saved the game, or that a second Stranger Things chapter might happen because of all this hype. The theories were getting bigger and bigger, and none of it had anything to do with me. They thought I was just posting numbers. I'm the unofficial evidence behind the rumor. And that's when I decided I probably should make a video about this. It's a never-ending cycle of fake tweets. It's gonna be so funny for a YouTube video. That's really all the goal. Get a funny YouTube video from it. What started as a tiny joke that I thought I'd never have to admit suddenly turned into a community-wide storyline with its own lore and mythology. I really did want to just leave this as a secret forever. Just a little harmless moment living inside a crazy rumor. But once I saw how big it had become and how many people were building narratives around this graph, I knew I had to tell the truth. So yeah, the chart was fake. All of it. And now you finally know.